Neuroprime, a concrete jungle. Towering skyscrapers scraped the sky. Piercing through the gray skies, their metallic surfaces reflected the omnipresent glow of holographic advertisements. Propaganda displays are everywhere on a repeat track on many display screens, bus outside hologlass storefronts. Think pure, think right. Compliance is peace. Your mind is also our mind. Free to think, I'm afraid there is a fee for that. The messages were everywhere, a constant reminder. Big Brother was watching. Always above the sky was a canvas of steel. Web pattern grid design, the drones are synchronized and coordinated. Drones, the eyes of the cognitive web, buzzed relentlessly, scanning, analyzing, observing, reporting. Their metallic bodies glinted in the artificial sunlight. They were ever present, their mechanical hum a constant threat. The streets below were a sea of faces, each one carefully neutral. Emotions were dangerous. A flicker of anger, a surge of dissent could be your downfall. The people of Neuroprime had learned to wear masks, not of cloth, but of conformity. The air hummed with a low frequency, the ever-present thrum of the cognitive web. It permeated everything, invisible tendrils reaching into the minds of every citizen, monitoring, analyzing, judging. In Neuroprime, silence wasn't golden, nor silver. It was an admission of guilt. Very dangerous, actually. David Grayson hurried through the crowded street, his head down, eyes averted. He was just another face in the crowd, another cog in the machine. That's all he ever wanted to be, invisible. He gripped his datapad tighter, his heart hammered against his ribs. He hated being outside, exposed. The drones made him nervous. And the cans see that their unblinking eyes seemed to follow his every move. He could feel the cognitive web's presence, a subtle pressure at the edge of his mind, like a spider web clinging to his thoughts. He tried to think of nothing, a blank slate, but even emptiness could be misconstrued. His apartment building loomed ahead, a gray, concrete monolith. He picked up his pace, yearning for the relative safety of his own four walls. Even there, he wasn't truly alone. The cognitive web had a way of seeping into everything. He reached the entrance and pressed his palm against the scanner. Identity confirmed. "Welcome home, Citizen Grayson." The door hissed open. He slipped inside. A wave of relief washed over him. He was safe, for now. David sank into the worn cushions of his chair. He let out a long breath. Home. He reached for his datapad, intending to lose himself in the mindless entertainment feed. Anything to quiet the incessant hum of the city. He began to think of the times before the past and what lies ahead in the future. Suddenly, a high-pitched whine pierced the air. The lights flickered. David froze. His blood turned to ice. He knew that sound. A cognitive drone. Here? But why? The whine intensified. He could hear the whirring of rotors as the drone descended. Panic seized him. He tried to stay calm, to regulate his breathing. But his thoughts were a whirlwind. Fear, confusion, guilt. He was already guilty. A blinding light filled the room. The drone hovered outside his window, its red and blue lights painting the walls in a macabre dance. A voice boomed from the drone's speaker, cold and metallic. Unit 19 and Unit 84 respond to the altercation as soon as possible. Citizen Grayson, you are suspected of harboring subversive thoughts. Remain calm and await detainment. The hallway had two Kana guards walking in an aggressive, fast, yet almost mechanized sequence. Armored plate and lights beneath them pulsing and flashing, the helmets scanning and guiding them to his location. They arrived at his unit, speaking through the door, loud with authority. David Grayson, remain still and silent. The door was breached, and one of the two stated, "Come with us, please." Citizen. David's heart pounded in his chest. Subversive thoughts. He couldn't be guilty, could he? He hadn't acted on anything, but in Neuroprime, intent was enough. The mere thought was a crime. He was trapped, caught in the web of his own mind. The courtroom was a stark contrast to the chaotic streets outside. Here, the fate of minds was decided with cold precision. The cyborg of order. Great Tenebrius the tyrant. The judge, a figure of authority, presided over the proceedings with an air of detachment. The accused, a man whose only crime was a thought, stood in the dock, his future hanging in the balance. The prosecutor, relentless and unforgiving, laid out the case with meticulous detail. Case code is 01-22-01069. Citizen Grayson, the prosecutor's voice echoed, you stand accused of harboring subversive thoughts against the state. Your intent alone is enough to convict you. David, trembling, looked towards his defense attorney, a lone voice of reason in this arena. Your Honor, the defense began, intent is a nebulous concept. We cannot punish citizens for the fleeting thoughts that cross their minds. This is a dangerous precedent. The judge's gavel struck the sound block, silencing the courtroom. Order, the judge commanded. This court will deliberate on the matter. In this arena, the battle for justice was fought not with weapons, but with words and ideas. The outcome, however, was far from certain. David's heart pounded as he awaited the verdict, the weight of the world pressing down on it, knowing that in Neuroprime, even a single thought could seal one's fate. The courtroom fell into a hushed silence as the judge, Tenebrius, prepared to deliver the verdict. Once a man, now more machine than human, Tenebrius wore a mask that concealed all traces of emotion. It shifts, sometimes the eyes are slits, visor, or he has two orbs that glow blue or white. The mask stays dark black and gray, sometimes featureless and sleek, other times grooved in lines that curve downward on front and sides of his masked face. As he speaks, the speakbox source amp shifts and moves. His mechanical voice, devoid of humanity, echoed through the chamber. This court has deliberated. The jury, a panel of robotic arbiters, displayed no signs of bias or compassion. Programmed to uphold the state's laws without question, their presence added an eerie, almost dystopian feel to the proceedings. Citizen Grayson, Tenebrius continued, you have been found guilty of harboring subversive thoughts against the state. Your intent has been deemed sufficient to warrant your conviction. David's heart sank. The weight of the verdict crushed his spirit, leaving him feeling hollow and defeated. His defense attorney's face was a mask of frustration and helplessness, knowing that the battle had been lost to a system that valued order over justice. Tenebrius's mask glinted under the courtroom lights as he delivered the final blow. You are hereby sentenced to reconditioning. May you find clarity and loyalty to the state in your new existence. Citizen Grayson was then taken away. The sentence has been passed, but the journey for those found guilty is far from over. Welcome to Neuroprime's reconditioning facility, where minds are molded to fit the state's vision of order and compliance. The sterile corridors of the facility stretch endlessly, illuminated by cold artificial light. Here, the convicted are not just punished, but transformed. Each step in the reconditioning process is designed to strip away dissent, to reshape thoughts and behaviors in the image of the state's ideals. Camera pans to a series of chambers, each holding an individual in a state of suspended animation. Electrodes are attached to their temples, delivering a continuous stream of state-approved thoughts and ideologies. The process begins with cognitive realignment. Memories are meticulously reviewed, altered, and if necessary, erased. This is followed by behavioral conditioning, where neural pathways are rewired to eliminate any trace of rebellious tendencies. The final step is emotional recalibration, ensuring that the reconditioned individual feels an unwavering loyalty to Neuroprime. A reconditioning technician, their face obscured by a mask, as they monitor the progress of an individual undergoing the procedure. But this method is not without its controversies. Critics argue that reconditioning is a violation of fundamental human rights, an erasure of individuality and free will. They question the morality of a system that punishes not just actions, but thoughts themselves. Now, in a darkened room where formerly reconditioned individuals sit in silence, their eyes vacant, their expressions blank. For those who emerge from reconditioning, life is a shadow of what it once was. They are shells of their former selves, their minds and souls altered beyond recognition. The ethical dilemmas posed by this process are profound, challenging the very essence of what it means to be human. The vast scale of the reconditioning facility, a stark reminder of the state's reach and control. In the end, reconditioning is a testament to the lengths Neuroprime will go to maintain order. It is a chilling reflection of a society where the thin line between thought and crime has been erased, and where the cost of dissent is the very core of one's humanity. The final words linger, a poignant conclusion to the series. May we never forget the price of order to be paid by any or all. In a world where even thoughts can be crimes, and may we always strive to find a balance between control and compassion. There is one more thing as a reader of the minds. I know what you are thinking. The like and subscribe buttons are what one seeks. They are located at the corner bottom border below the video screen. Much appreciation and admiration on behalf of the cognitive web and mech high judge tyrant Tenebrius the Great. How fortuitous I am, as are you, citizen. You're free to go, just remember I'll be watching you anytime and all the time. My eyes are high in the skies. Word of the wise.